Okay, so had a little bit of a issue in the very beginning there. Um, Kind of just wanted to pop on here and just kind of go over a few things that we had happen at Gettysburg. Got a little bit of evidence that we was able to go over so far. There's a lot more to go over. Obviously, I have probably 6 or 7 hours worth of footage just in the room that we stayed in that I still have to go through. But um, just skimming through some of it, I found some information that I thought was really cool, and I've got some photos and stuff I want to share with everybody. We stopped at three major places. Um, Two of them of which that I was incredibly happy to do. I was really wanting to do this for a long time. We went to Gettysburg, obviously, and then we went to Centralia, Pennsylvania. And anybody that knows me knows I've been wanting to go to Centralia for a really long time. Gettysburg has been a passion of mine for a really long time as well. Now, Flight 93 Memorial, I honestly didn't think about it being out there, and that was just kind of like an added bonus. So I thought that was really cool. Um, so while we still get things set up over here, I'm just going to kind of mosey around. If anybody's got any questions, if anybody joins here, if anybody's got questions or whatever, just drop them down, and I'll try to get to them if and when we can. And same thing as always whenever we do these lives, sometimes we get a bunch of people that come on. Sometimes it's hardly anybody. It's just the time or whatever people has to work, that kind of thing. So if you don't get on the live and you still have a question, post it on the video, and we'll get back to it later and try to get an answer for it. But I'm gonna try to cover some of the things that experience wise and stuff that happened to us here. Answer a couple questions about some things that people has asked me about, and just kind of go on from there. So give us just a minute to finish setting up here. I'm going to take the camera off of me here, and I'm just going to kind of put up something in the background here for you.
When it's night, when it's day, we explore, we investigate. The paranormal, to seek the truth. E.V.P.S. Paranormal.
All right, so I'm just going to kind of go back and forth here, Alex. This is Joe and my son, Alex. Thank you for helping me out here with it today, Alex.
Yeah,
I
no
know
problem.
You got work and stuff tomorrow. So, like I said, if anybody sees this later, just put something down. I'm kind of watching the stream here. I'm going over stuff here on the computer, so I'm kind of all over the place. I'm just going to kind of give it a couple minutes here just to see if anybody has a minute to join. So usually the way this works is people will come in after the fact. I think we have one in here now. I'm going to wait to see if anybody else joins before I really start. So in that meantime, what I want to do is I just want to play some of the pictures. I kind of created a little bit of a movie here. I'll start off with, I don't know, Alex, which one you think I ought to start off with as far as the pictures go?
Probably start with any of them, really.
Okay, well, I'll start off with the ones from we'll start off with Flight 93. These, once again, guys, this was a me set the tone here a little bit. This was a place that I honestly didn't think about. And then when we found it, we figured, oh yeah, we have to go. Just pay our respects, that kind of thing. We get there, and I mean, there's parts of this where you walk through, and it just, I mean, it hits you like just energy rush. That's the best way I can describe it. Um, at one point in time, I was walking over the overlook, and I mean, it hit me so hard that I mean, it was bringing tears in my eyes. That's how badly it was hitting me. I was like, wow, just a lot of powerful energy there. And you'll see what I mean. Just when you look at these pictures, just kind of, just kind of look at them and see it. On some of the stuff here that I was describing to people earlier, I was getting some of the information wrong. The path that we were walking down is actually the path next to the debris field. I actually thought behind the wall of names was the debris field, and I actually had that wrong. So I don't know who I've told that to at this point. I've told a lot of people, so I just wanted to make sure I corrected that. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's just going to play a few seconds of each picture. And again, if you have any questions about it, just put something up or, pop on here later on, whatever, however you want to do it. So there we go. Now I'm viewing these as you're viewing them too. And as you see, they have some nice little info boards there. Shows you the actual flight plan and, who was where. And this place has a museum too with, they have calls, from these people to their loved ones. I mean, I can't listen to them. It was rough. But this is the wall I was talking about. There's just more of the pictures there. That's just part of the field.
Now, since I wasn't there, what was it like there? Like, can you describe how it was? That kind of stuff. Because I'm kind of curious about it.
Well, like for example, on this little part of the slide here, it's kind of hard to describe. Let me get to a different picture here. I can kind of describe it a little bit better. So as you see, it's clicking through. You see the path that you're defining on. This is leading up to. Well, actually, I'm sorry. It's on the other side of the debris field. So let me get there a little bit better. But hold on a minute. I know I got some better ones in here. I don't know exactly what order I put them in. Okay, so this is part of the museum part. You actually walk through this, and you walk onto an outlook. And to your left, after you get in that first little break right there, that's where the museum's at. So I'll show you. I'll stop it when we get to the outlook part.
Sure.
And again, this is just more information and stuff here.
To 9/11 memorial.
Yeah, and here's a bike that they have that it's got all the names on it and stuff. I just thought it was super cool. I had to take pictures of it. I mean, that's really nice that they did all that for Flight 93. All right, now there's my ugly mug. I didn't realize I had all that in there. Okay, so this is the outside part of the museum part here, but it'll start replaying here, and then I'll show you. I'll stop it at the picture I was referring to. Now this one here, you'll notice where it says Memorial Plaza. Memorial Plaza. It's kind of hard to describe. Memorial Plaza there's like a walkway out there, and that walkway, I guess you can walk around there, and there's like trees and stuff they have planted there. And when you walk down this little pathway, that's part of the Memorial Plaza too, I do believe. It's just a path that you kind of walk the flight plan or whatever that is. I thought that was really kind of cool and also kind of like wow at the same time. So let me get to some of these better pictures here. I can kind of describe a little bit better. So I'm still still getting used to the new stuff here with the being able to put in pictures and stuff on our videos.
All right.
So let me. Here we go. It takes it a minute to go through for some reason. I don't know why. Now here's all the names. Well, it was all the names of the people. Here's the wall. Now, if you look at this picture here, you'll see that I'm looking down the wall, and up at the top there, that is where the museum's at, and that lookout. If you could see, if you look real closely, you'll see the lookout right there.
Okay. So that's
Okay,
towards
so
that corner right there, that concrete wall up top.
yeah, now this concrete wall down here, they have all the names carved in of the people that were on the flight, and there's one that actually disturbed Nathan. So me and my wife and my other son Nathan were out here. We were the only ones there from our group, and Nathan has special needs, and he really got bothered by the one part of the wall that said I don't know if it was a flight attendant or whatever, but it also said unborn or was it unborn child or unnamed child or something like that. She was pregnant, and it was a really hard part for him to get past. For obvious reasons. Obviously, the
Right.
whole thing was pretty hard. Um, but, it was really rough on him because he,
Oh, I bet that freaking
yeah, I mean,
terrifies me even.
exactly. I mean, just looking at it, you're like, wow, man, that's
It's
crazy.
a very grim picture for sure.
Yeah,
It's like it's something real that happened, you know.
right. So I'm trying to get it to some of these other slides here, and I don't know if I've got an internet connection issue because it keeps going back and forward to some of these other ones that are. Okay, here we go. Here's some of the slides I wanted to get to. So this is part of the top part up there by the museum,
Yeah.
and you can see down below. If you look to the far right corner, that's where you come in at, and that's where the path starts, and then you walk to the right, kind of like in a diagonal pattern, going to the wall. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where you're looking at. As you can see down there now, you can see the pathway that you walk up to it. Kind of in the middle of the screen is where the wall's at. And all these other things here, these other paths, you can walk around and kind of look at everything. It's a pretty powerful site. It really is.
Yeah,
And I'm
like
obviously on the deck part of the top there, so it was pretty hard to visit. For I mean, I don't know if everybody feels that way or not, but I know the energy was hitting me pretty good at certain spots. It was like, wow, that was pretty amazing. Um, but then also we had, well, let me just go ahead and play the Gettysburg, and then I'll play the Centralia. We'll just go through all the pictures first and get them out of the way. So this is the Gettysburg picture. This is where we stayed. It's called the Federal Point Inn. This is just some of the museum pictures. I have some of those in there as well. I just honestly threw together all the pictures and just threw them up there. So I took these pictures from my friend Jerry. He's into period buttons and guns and things like that. So I thought he would like that.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the museum itself was set up very nice, just like what you would think a museum. Now I do have to mention, guys, there is a movie in this museum. If you go, watch the movie in there. I know it costs an extra charge or whatever, but the movie's made by History Channel and it's narrated by Morgan Freeman. And it is when you start watching this thing, I mean, it's going to hit you like whoa. I mean, for me anyway, I love Morgan Freeman. I love his voice. I love his acting. I think the guy is a great actor. He does a very good job on anything he plays in. So it kind of hits you pretty good when you have just in my opinion, the right person telling it, and he was perfect for it.
All right.
And the little movie was really cool. And then at the top of the theater, they did what they call, I think it's called a cyclorama. It is a hand painted oil painting that is 360 degrees around the wall. So
Wow.
if you can imagine, I don't know, the size of my house. I have a bi-level house, and I think we have like I don't know 2,700 square feet or whatever. That painting is bigger than the house around. So you go up these they're not elevators, they're like escalators, and you get up at the top, and they tell a story. And behind the oil painting, they'll light up certain parts of it while they're telling the story. It's really super cool. Um, it sounds kind of goofy, but when you're up there looking at it, it's pretty badass. Um, and obviously, these are things from the war and pictures and stuff from the museum. Alex, I don't know how much you're into that war there, but buddy, I had a fantastic time, and it was pretty slick. I really liked it.
Yeah, I love history. I grew up liking history, and I haven't really had a real time to sit down and think about Gettysburg recently, unfortunately. But I'm sure it was pretty nice to go there and see what happened and all the sights, like this stuff right here you went to go see. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, it's just I'm kind of jealous actually, but
Well, this right here, this is part of or coming up to McPherson's Ridge. Um, and as you see, they have like the little fence things there where they're kind of like this. That's throughout the whole property.
yeah,
I assume that that's that way altogether. This place right here was called the Cut. That's where I did one of them lives from that you helped me on. And there was a bunch of Confederate soldiers, I think 25 or 30 of them, that went down in this cut because they were trying to ambush the Union, and they figured that would be a good spot to hide and kind of like pop up and cap them or whatever.
yeah.
And when they did, they basically got stuck in there because it was too deep, and the Union come in and they just slaughtered them. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it was a really powerful place, in my opinion. I felt kind of charged up when I was in that area too. This is on top of the ridge down there from that Flame of the Eternal Light. So they have this building there that it's a monument. You can see it way off in the distance on your left on this picture. But what it is the base of it has granite from the northern states, and the top portion has Alabama limestone from the southern states. And it's supposed to signify the reunification of the United States. And there's a flame that constantly burns at the top, and they call it the Flame of the Eternal Light. It's supposed to signify the reunification of the country, forever, forever together or whatever.
Right.
It's really cool. It was a cool place to see.
Yeah.
Tons of cannons all over the place, and the battlefield is insanely large. I mean, I knew it was big, but let me just tell you, it's way bigger than I ever imagined. I mean, my wife tried to explain it to me, and I was like, yeah, I get it. It's big, and I planned all these experiments and stuff. Holy shit. It is so much bigger than what I thought.
Yeah.
Now, this over here, this is Culp's Ridge. This is a section that I really got into. So back in the woods here, I went down a trail. My wife found a trail for me there, and I went back down the trail, and there's a section back there where the Union lined up in like this big hook formation or whatever. And there was a section back there where you could just look down the hill, and you could, envision Confederates coming up the hill trying to take the hill. And you can see why they wanted the hill. It was very defensible. There was rock croppings all over the place. You could just kind of like pop out and, grab somebody or whatever and then get back in cover. The whole place was really super cool. I did a lot of E.V.P. probing. I did a lot of testing with EMF and stuff, and EMF was all over the place out there. So I didn't really record any of that stuff because at 1 minute it was like, fluctuations here, but then the next minute it wasn't. So it wasn't really steady. And I didn't really feel like there's the Flame of the Eternal Light. I didn't really feel like that was a good representation of that's closer to the building. I didn't feel like it was a good representation of what it was. So I didn't put that in there. Because the EMF was all over the place. I basically just did a lot of probing. I did some necrophonics work. I used a lot of the ITC apps that I don't usually get a chance to use. Since it was basically just me, my wife, and my other son, we were just using a lot of apps and things like that just to kind of use different equipment. I did bring everything. I used a 360 camera in the room at night, and that's our hotel on the outside. I did bring a 360 camera in the room at night, and I got some fantastic evidence. Like I said, I only been through basically an hour of it so far. I still got like 7 hours left to go through, but it was pretty badass.
Yeah,
There's that
super
Colts.
great.
that Culp's Ridge or whatever. That's that section I was telling you about. I did a lot of probing right there.
Hmm.
And this is just in the woods. You know, you can go back in the woods and bam, there it is.
Yeah, it's spread through everywhere pretty much. The whole area that you're in is the battlefield itself.
Yeah. Now this is about halfway up on one of the lookout points there at Culp's Ridge. I tried really hard to climb this damn thing. I did so good at the one down there near McPherson's Ridge. You know, I figured, oh, I can do this. You know, it's only a few flights more. Let's just say my knees got weak, my hands were sweaty, and not only that, I was also feeling a little overwhelmed before I even started climbing the tower. I don't know if that is anything paranormal or if, you know, because I'm scared of heights, so it could be something like that. I don't really know. I just know it was really, really rough for me to get any higher than this right here. I think I made it one more level higher than this, and then I said, hell, I got to come back now. I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Gettysburg. This was another place that you know, I've been infatuated with horror and stuff like that most of my life, and I really got a kick out of the movie Silent Hill, one of my favorite ones. And when I heard about this place years ago, I heard different things. You know, that part of the movie Silent Hill was based off this town, blah 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 blah, and just the fact that it could be, I thought that was interesting. So I started, like, you know, getting into the town and wanting to learn more and more. And information, I do have to say, is incredibly hard to find on good information on this town.
Mm-hmm.
So even when we got there, we had to do a fair bit of exploring just to find what I was looking for. I had some major goals. One of the major goals was I wanted to see the vent pipes that were, you know, in and next to the streets. I wanted to find the graffiti highway, and I wanted to actually find the church. Well, the church was easy to find. You know, it's sticking out like a sore thumb on the side of the Allegheny Mountains. You can actually see it. It was really super easy to get to. The rest of them were really difficult. I almost gave up and was getting ready to drive back when I found the graffiti highway just by chance. But the vents that we found, yeah, this is super cool. I got to show you this, and I'm getting a little goosebumps now talking about it because I just honestly, it's something that I've been infatuated with for a long time. I know, Alex, you know what I'm talking about with the movie. I'm sure you've heard me, you know, gripe and moan about it for years, and I want to do this and that and blah blah blah. And so here's some pictures from it. Some of these are mine. Some of these are from my wife's camera. I did find some really weird stuff. Like at one point, there was a picture that we took. I think it was when we was coming out of one of the abandoned streets. You can look over to the left. There's a perimeter wall, and off in the back, there's something kind of sitting there about yay high off the ground. I don't know, 2 feet or whatever. Then there's some yellow stuff that goes over it, kind of like draping over it, hanging. And it looks like on one end, it looks like a mask about yay big. And on the other end, it looks like a mask too. And they're yellow and orange. And I kept looking at it like, damn, is that like a flower or something? I could not figure out what the hell this thing was. It was completely out of place. Everything else around it was green. You'll see on the pictures. Let me just go ahead and start playing them here. So you'll see like graffiti stuff everywhere. You know, it's kind of one of the themes out there. I don't really know what that means, but
so what's the
abandoned streets?
What's the sorry, I didn't mean to
That's
interrupt
it right
you.
there. That's it right there. So let me go back, see if I can get this thing to go back here. I'm gonna stop it on that picture so you can see it right there. That was what I was talking about. See how it kind of looks like? It looks like masks on each end or whatever, but then again, it looks like a freaking flower. So I just thought it was really cool and out of place. You know, I know I'm weird, but so we found all kinds of little areas that had graffiti on it. There's one of the pipes there. You can see this is the vent pipe that they installed. They installed these all over the place. So this is one of the vent pipes that they installed to, I think the idea was to either let this area breathe underground so it can put the fire out, or maybe they figured they just let that area go, and then when it was done, they would cap it off or something. I don't really know. Finding good information online is kind of difficult. And you'll see in our pictures here, we have several of these pictures where we found these vent pipes. Super, super cool. Very hard to find. Everything I read on Reddit and everything else, I've seen them all over the place. People were finding them, but you have to look because nobody's going to tell you where these are at. And I think it's a liability thing. Now, me personally, I'll tell you exactly where they're at. So you're coming up I think it's 42 or whatever, and you're coming up to on the map where 42 and I think 61 intersects at the bottom of the hill. Right at the top of the hill on the left, you see St. Ignatius Church or whatever. Directly across from that is part of the abandoned town, and then going down the hill, that whole section right there, that's part of the abandoned town. Also on the other side down the hill, that's part of the abandoned town. You'll see the streets and stuff that are all jacked up. But on the right there, that's where we found the vent pipes back in the woods. You had to walk a pretty good ways. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me go play some of these other pictures here. I'll stop on some other ones when I find them. And there's another one there. As you can see, everything's got overgrowth and stuff on it. There's another one. I mean, we were finding them. Once we found them left and right. You know, there's just debris or whatever. And I heard that here is one of them that's kind of off in the woods a little bit. Now, obviously, these trees and stuff in the front probably weren't here when they were installed. And if you look further in the back, I don't have any way of zooming this picture in. But if you look in the back there, that is the church, or I'm sorry, the cemetery in the back there. I'm letting it play. Get some other pictures here. Show you some more about what we got here. I mean, it was really a super cool place. I really enjoyed myself. Centralia definitely did not disappoint at all. I was very happy with. There's another one of the little vent pipes there on the side. You can see that. Another close up of it.
So what was the whole idea with the highway? I'm not really following with that.
Well, I haven't made it to the highway portion yet. I'll stop it when I get there. These are just the vent pipes. The highway, and I think this was either a fire hydrant or a vent pipe that they closed off, or maybe even some electricity. I don't know. It could have been like a light pole or something. I should have some highway pictures come up. This is just a little area that had some coal in it. I took a couple rocks here. I'll show you them here in a minute. I really thought the graffiti highway was back here, and I couldn't find it, so I was getting really frustrated. But I did eventually find it, and I'll show you a couple pictures of it, I think. There's the cemetery right there. That's one of them.
Is that from the battlefields and stuff?
No, this is in Centralia.
Centralia, okay.
This is where I was doing the E.V.P. section, back there where them things are at. Now, this is part of Graffiti Highway right here. Okay, so you can see, obviously, a good section. This right here is not covered up. But in one of these other slides here, you'll see that it actually is. And you see all the mounds of dirt on the right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they literally, see all the way down there. This is Graffiti Highway. They just covered it up with dump truck loads full of dirt. Now, the reason that they did this, the whole highway was covered with all that graffiti there, and it was a really cool touristy spot to go to. The reason they did that is people were setting fires out there. They were camping. They were fooling around, doing stupid shit like, people do. And there was a fire that caught underneath the road, and there was a fire on top of the road, and it was a dangerous situation. So they just decided, you know what, we got to shut it down. We can't monitor it. We can't, control it. This and that, whatever. Locals out there they're not really happy to see visitors and stuff like that. So remember that if you go there. But yeah, this whole section stretches for an entire mile, and it's all covered with dump truck loads full of dirt. Mm. It's kind of sad, but then again, I kind of understand why they did it. I mean, people were really bad and ruin it for anybody that would really be going out there just for like my purposes, just to learn about it and see the site, basically. Kids and such, people just out there screwing off, don't have anything else better to do. It is a mountain town, and it's not what you think like Smoky Mountains. Think smaller kind of mountains. I think the Allegheny or however you say that, I think that's the mountains that are out there, and a lot of them is more like foothills than anything. But it is very mountainous. And it's still a coal mining town, not that specific town because that one I think is pretty much defunct now. I think there's 4 or 7 people living in there now. That's it. So it's not like an active town anymore. Um, Now, having said all that, we did go through an area that was called Minersville or Minerstown or whatever. And let me tell you, that was a little different. That was a little different experience right there. It's exactly what you would think of Hills Have Eyes kind of thing. It was different. Uh,
Really?
Now I'm joking around a little bit. It was different though. I mean, you could tell when the people look at you and stuff. It was just different.
Yeah.
Now I did pick up a couple rocks. Let me go ahead and turn this off here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Um, I'm going to put myself on here, Alex. Like, there we go. So here's one of the rocks that I had gotten. Um, I don't really know what this is. It's some sort of limestone or something. I
It's
don't
like
really know.
limestone. Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I'm not a geologist. And then I got a nasty piece of coal.
Hmm.
Me and Nathan both actually got the same type of rocks. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that with everybody.
Was that actually coal or is that just a
No,
rock?
it's
Or
actually cool. I mean, I could break pieces of it off, right there.
oh
I can
wow.
break it off, and it'll burn and everything else.
What's
It's pretty cool.
what's the coal from? Why is there coal there?
Well, there's a big see that okay. Centralia, Pennsylvania. They made their living years ago in the 50s, 60s. Probably before that. They made their living because they're a coal mining town. They had a huge and still have a enormous coal vein underneath the town in the mountains there, which is why it's so hard to put this mine fire out.
Hmm.
Because you can imagine, like when an ant makes a tunnel underground, then they fork off in a million different directions. Same way for coal veins. So you'll go down and you'll hit a good deposit or whatever, and you'll try to mine that section out or whatever. But then the reason why mines last 30, 50, 100 years or whatever is because there's so many veins that fork off. Well, imagine if you get something uncontrolled like a fire, it's not going to stop. It's just going to continue to spread because there's no way to put it out. And there's all this, air and stuff coming in, just feeding the fire. There's just literally no way to control it. That's what happened here. They they loaded up the mine with. They kind of use it as a landfill, and they loaded it up with garbage and things like that. Just not thinking about waste management and things like that. Just not what you would imagine today being. So they loaded the mine up, and from the best stories that I found is lightning struck the landfill and ignited the fire, and pretty much the rest is history. They spent millions of dollars on it. They tried digging portions of it out and filling it in with dirt and trapping all the air and all this kind of stuff. And at best, they might have slowed it down. So because the fumes and stuff were toxic, coming off of the coal and stuff, that's why they defunct the town and they bought everybody's homes out, relocated them, and that kind of thing. So that was, in a nutshell, the real kind of version of the story of Centralia. There's a lot more to it, I'm sure, and I may not even have the details right myself because things that you read online always has somebody's flavor to it. They always have their little spin on it, so you don't really know what information is good.
All right.
I know when we went looking for this, I knew about where everything was at, but man, just finding the place was a daunting kind of task. It was different. Um, I really did enjoy it, though. I do have to say, I would love to do more exploration like that. I'm a little out of shape, obviously, but I had a great time doing it, and we took a lot of pictures. We took a lot of video. We had a lot of fun. We just enjoying, out in nature and walking around, and then seeing something that was abandoned like that. That was pretty cool. I seen old fire hydrants, things like that. It was a little depressing at times too because you'd run across areas where you'd see like an old mattress and a campfire and a bunch of booze bottles and trash and shit everywhere. And people were just you could say good about people, but you can also say a lot of bad about people too. I mean, people are very destructive when they're not checked. So there again, it's one of those things where That's why we have rules and laws and things like that to keep everybody in check. Because if you don't, people tend to kind of just do whatever. And that was a prime example of that. And it was a little unfortunate because it was a fantastic place for me. Um, and I've been talking about this place for God, the better part of the entire life you've been alive, Alex. And how old are you? You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
so I think I've been infatuated with the place for 20 years or better, 25 years, whatever. It's been a while, and I finally got a chance to see it. My wife and son were fantastic. Everything I wanted to do, they did, and we had a great time. Um, especially especially things like Gettysburg and Centralia. I knew those were going to be fantastic. The ones that I didn't know was like Flight 93. That was amazing. So I thought that was really, really kind of cool. Um, Somber, kind of. I don't know how to describe it. It was cool, but it was also sad at the same time. And I know that sounds really weird when I say it that way. Um, I do have a couple things here that I wanted to show. Um, I don't have everything ready as far as video and things like that. Hold on one second here. So I don't have everything ready as far as video and stuff when it comes to our evidence. I'm still going through a lot of that stuff. And if you watch my live on McPherson's Ridge when I was out at Gettysburg, I do believe that I caught something on the recorder there, but it's so hard to hear when you're out there. And a lot of these things you don't really see or hear right away. So what I'm going to play for you now is in our hotel room. It's incredibly hard to hear. This is what I would consider like a Class C EVP or whatever. It's there, but you have to put headphones on or something to be able to hear it. You can hear a little blurb of something, but once you put headphones on and just kind of isolate it and turn the volume up, you can hear it plain as day. Excuse me. Um, I've marked out what I think it says on there, just like I would normally do in a video. So what we did, part of our experiment was we had a couple cat balls that we set out, and we set those out, just to see if anything would happen with them. And as of right now, I don't see anything on the video where they were activated, but I haven't gone through everything yet. Um, because once I got to this video at 4 o'clock in the morning, because my camera separates it in hours, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So the file that was 4 o'clock um, is the one that I was skimming through. I was just kind of bouncing back and forth, and I skimmed through a couple before that, and I didn't see any lights or whatever, but I heard something, so I put the headphones on. That's how I started hearing all the stuff that I'm getting ready to play for you now. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, and I'm going to turn off the background music that I have playing right now, just so you have a better chance of being able to hear it. It's very short. I think altogether it might be 20 seconds or something like that. Um, I'm going to play it a couple times so that when I play it, it's going to be something that you can hear over and over and over again. Once it stops, I'll play it again. I'll just play it, let's say 5 times. So I'll go ahead and start it now. And if you see anything or hear anything else or whatever, comment down below. Or if you disagree with what I've got marked up, hey, I'd love to hear it too, because this is just what I think it is. And I'm terrible at hearing stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and play it now for you. Okay, so did you hear anything from that, Alex? I know it's really difficult to hear how I got it split up. It's very faint, but when you put headphones on and you isolate it and turn up the volume without doing anything else to it, you can hear it.
I personally couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
I don't know if your like end was messing up or I'm not
No,
sure.
the file that I sent you earlier, this is the same file. I just kind of pulled it out, and it's really hard to hear. I didn't want to do anything with the audio because I don't want to like taint it or whatever. I figured if anybody wants to, all they have to do is turn up the volume and put headphones on, and they should be able to hear it. I got everything else turned off. Um, but it's really difficult to hear, and like I said, I'm gonna get a better part of it for the video when we actually make the video, and I'll actually probably boost it up a little bit so you can hear it. Um, I'm not really a big fan of boosting a lot of those because I kind of like to give you what I hear, what I see, the raw stuff. But this one here is one of those ones that I feel like I need to give it a little bit of a boost in order for you to be able to hear what I'm talking about. Now, you'll notice when I played the video, um, the feet that you see in the background there, that's my son Nathan. And once again, he has special needs. And the going theory with anybody in the paranormal, you got to be really careful, which is why we let him do certain things. He's interested in it, but we don't let him do everything because um, things can kind of attach themselves or whatever. You got to be really careful with people with special needs because they're more susceptible to the paranormal around. That's the going theory anyway. And I don't want to take a chance and have something happen to him or attach to him or whatever. So I don't. He can join in on the things that he can join in on, the light stuff, which is what we usually keep it to. But sometimes we'll let him do a little more than that, just to kind of get involved because he does like to do it, and he does like to um, help us out, and he's very interested in a lot of it. So it's something that we allow him to do a little bit. I talked to my wife about it, and she's okay with certain levels of it, which is why a lot of times when you see him, you'll see her. She likes to help out with it because it just then that way she can tell me if I'm going too far or whatever because sometimes I don't pay attention. Um, but yeah, that was the biggest evidence that I have got sorted out so far. There's little clips of my videos that I still have a lot to go through. By the way, there's little clips of the videos that it's really difficult to see, but I can see stuff in the woods, like on the tree line and stuff. And I've read a lot of stories about, like, especially in Gettysburg. I've read a lot of stuff about like you'll see ghostly figures on the tree line. They're coming up, to the whatever the cut or whatever, and they're marching and all this stuff. One thing that you got to remember about Gettysburg alone, and this part floored me. And this was on the little video with Morgan Freeman. Um, One of the things that really kind of floored me was the fact that the Confederate Army were an entire mile long at one point when they were marching up to the ridge and Gettysburg and all that stuff. Think about that. An entire mile long of infantry, cavalry, artillery. I mean, holy shit, that's a lot of people. Um, that's a lot. So when you think about it, you're thinking, ooh, wait a minute. So the scope of this battlefield just got a lot bigger for me. I
Yeah.
knew it was big, but you don't realize the scope of it until you know you do. So, Alex, did you have any questions about any of that stuff?
No, I just during the slideshows and everything else, I was very intrigued about most of it, and pretty much answered a lot of my questions and things of that nature. So yeah.
Well, I have a couple videos that I want to play. Um, these are just other videos, like things from Centralia and stuff. None of these are edited. So kind of take them for what you will. So I'm going to try to find a couple of these now so I can kind of show you. Um, see if I can show you the Flight 93. I did have a couple really good ones here at the Flight 93 Memorial, and I don't know which ones are which here, so I probably won't show most of that. But here's one that I kind of wanted to show everybody. This is with Nathan. He's my other son, and he was the one that went with us on the trip, and he has autism. And this was one of the sessions that we allowed him to do with, I think we was running necrophonics. So I'll show you that little portion right here. We come with the utmost respect, and we've seen your memorial and are very moved and touched by it. Just looking to make communication with anybody that may be here.
Anybody here?
We're just using this
Well, where are you
standard necrophonic app.
Standard? Yeah. So where does the press see echo?
So when you say something, give them time to respond.
Yep. Does anybody like to speak to me?
Thank them for their time. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you talking with us. So that's just one part that we did with him. Again, none of that's edited or anything. We have at least 3 or 4 sections where he was running necrophonics. We did. Let me see which apps I can show you the apps that we actually did. Did you have any sound on that portion, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that you had sound there. So let me show you the apps that we were kind of fooling around with. One of the apps that I was messing around with was this one. Okay, I got a few of them on here. So E.V.P. Shifter, Perilous, which is an older like Spirit Box type app. Ghost Hunting Tools, which is let me show you what this one is. This is one of the ones I kind of like. So it kind of acts as a Spirit Box Ovilus type setup. And then we were using PXB07 Spirit Box. I know a lot of you guys have seen this before. And then obviously we were using the Ghost Tube SLS. This one was pretty cool. It doesn't always track properly, but it does a decent job for what it is. And then he had another one on another Spirit Box one that I don't have on this phone. But we was trying to use a little more of the apps because their ITC communication is a little different. So it runs off of like an internet database or whatever. So I know a lot of people say, well, you're getting feedback and then they're giving you random responses back and this and that. I can understand some of that, but some of the way that this stuff sweeps and kind of comes through is kind of hard to follow that kind of logic. So you just have to play with them yourself. And I don't want to walk through the whole program here right now, but we were running stuff like that. We ran, I don't know, at least a dozen EVP sessions. Didn't really get to do any night vision. Everywhere out there in Gettysburg closes at dark. Centralia, we were out there during the day. And Flight 93, it was one of those things where we just kind of ran across it. We didn't even really expect to see it. We've seen some signs, and we're like, oh, we have to go there. And when we got there, they closed at 5 o'clock. I think we had like an hour, so we were very pressed for time. And we walked the whole thing, took a bunch of pictures, and went through the museum and stuff. We actually bought a couple things. We bought a shirt And at Gettysburg, we bought a hat, that kind of stuff, to support them. And I thought that was important too. But we didn't really have a whole lot of time. I was a little bit disappointed on the fact that I brought the drone and I couldn't get this thing up anywhere. So I didn't realize in Gettysburg, the entire area in Gettysburg is pretty much a national park. Well, a lot of national parks, and this, out there specifically says it right on all the paperwork. You're not allowed to fly a unmanned aircraft, drone, whatever, RC vehicle, blah blah blah. I mean, it specifically tells you in the literature and stuff that you read, which was unfortunate because I didn't know that. But it is what it is. So we didn't get the drone up in Gettysburg. I was thinking about doing it at Centralia, and I got to looking around, and literally, when you see our video on Centralia, you'll understand why. Because going down the streets that were abandoned, the trees kind of come in like this. Even if I would have got the drone up, you're just going to see a side of a mountain, treetops below. You're not really going to see anything. The graffiti highway is all covered up. I could have possibly got some sections there, but I walked a good portion of it, and besides seeing animals and stuff like that, I didn't really see a whole lot myself. Even if I were to fly above, I don't think I would have seen a whole lot, to be honest with you, because it was just covered up. And that part's a little unfortunate, but again, it is what it is. I was very happy to be there. But that part was a little unfortunate. I couldn't get the drone up, and I was really wanting to. I wanted the aerial footage. I've seen others' aerial footage, and I thought that was fantastic. But the aerial footage that I seen from before was before they put all the stuff on the graffiti highway. And what the area down there does now is, I think they try to deter people from coming there. They purposely put things in the road. The roads are like really tore up in certain spots. Like, it looks like, they've been tore up, not just degraded away. It looks like they've been like pieces of it chunked out, that kind of stuff, with like a bucket on a backhoe or something. And I think it's on purpose to keep you from going to certain areas. So, it is what it is out there. We had a great time, and there were some places, very few, that we didn't get to. Gettysburg, there was a lot that we didn't get to. There were so many things out there that you could see. I could probably spend 2 weeks there and not get through it all. It was amazing.
Big place.
What was it at?
So it's a big place.
Mm-hmm. And just the way that things were out at Gettysburg is very commercialized. One thing that I didn't like about Gettysburg was, you go down, I forget the name of the street now, but you go down the street close to where we stayed, and they have these haunted tours or whatever. So they'll take 20, 30 people in a tour. They'll go down the road to the blocks, and the streets out there, they're not set up as like city blocks, like squares. They're more like triangles, and they come in 5 points, and it's kind of like it reminds me of a lot of what I seen like in the East Coast, like Boston area or whatever. I've never been to Boston, so I can't say, except for the videos that I've seen. It looks a lot like that. Now, the ghost tours, they'll take 20, 30 people. They'll go down the road. You'll see them at one corner. They'll no sooner than cross that corner, and you see another group of 20, 30. I mean, I know they got to make some money and stuff, but they don't go inside any houses. They just walk around. It's more of a historical tour. And there's several down there, but none of them goes into homes or anything like that. They're not, they're not licensed or anything for all that. So it's a little unfortunate to see that, because that, in my mind, is, the paranormal part that I don't like, where everybody's making money off of it. I understand you got to pay your bills and stuff like that too, but that just seems like a little bit of a gimmick to me. So I didn't like that part that I seen, but it is what it is. So we seen that, and that was a little disheartening, I'll say. I do have to say though that all the monuments, the cemeteries and stuff out there, they were very, very, very well kept. Now, obviously, it's considered a national park area, or military national park, or however you want to describe it. But everything was very well kept. in the National Cemetery, one thing that my wife pointed out that I honestly didn't pick up on, I was so excited about everything else. Um, in the National Cemetery, she was going around looking at the trees, and there was hemlocks, there was all these different, spruces and buckeyes and things like that. I'm like, wow, buckeyes an Ohio tree. Apparently, they have trees from every state in that park. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I didn't even pick up on that until she said that, so I just thought that was a really cool factoid.
Yeah.
There was a lot of little things like that was just really super cool. When you were out there, like our hotel didn't have an elevator.
Yeah.
That was a little something, trying to carry all the equipment upstairs and down, and all of our bags upstairs and down. And my wife's got a busted right wrist right now because she just had surgery on it. So that was fun. Ended up kind of like wearing my back out a little bit, being kind of stupid, but we had a lot of fun. We really did. We did stuff there at the hotel, and we were only there a couple, 2 or 3. I think we were there 2 nights, and then we went to Centralia, and then we came back home. There was so much more that we could have seen, but think about it this way too: the hotels are expensive. I think it was 300 and something, $400 or whatever for the 2 nights that we stayed out there. So it's kind of a pricey kind of a thing, but it's really worth it. I do want to go back eventually. Next time we go back, I'd like to see different stuff than what we've seen this time. And now that I know a little bit about the area, my wife has been there twice now, so she knows a little bit more about the area now. So we should be able to thumb our way around a little bit better. So eventually we'll get back and do some more poking around, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more to see there. Like Seminary's Ridge, I was a little disappointed in that area because it's not set up like McPherson's Ridge or any of the other ones. It's not very. You could walk for probably a damn mile before you get to anything to look at or read or whatever. It's basically just a path. They have a fence that goes along the path, and there's these little factoid boxes all over the place. That's cool, but that's not what I'm there for. I'm there for more of the historic sites like the Cut that I seen, and the monuments are cool and stuff too, but that was more what I was looking to see. Like Culp's Ridge, the reason I got so infatuated with that is you got all these rock structures and stuff littered on the side of the hill that you can just imagine somebody hiding behind and waiting to pop the guy coming up the hill. Things like that were really cool. I get into all the facts and stuff too, like everybody else, but I can see that on TV. I could learn about it in other ways. I wanted to see things that I'm not going to get to see. And I really wasn't disappointed. If I had more time, we would have done more. But it was a very, very, very fun trip. And then, obviously, the whole way out there, we had our little junk food fetish, and we ate whatever the hell we wanted. And that was...
vacation?
Huh?
You're on vacation?
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm paying for it now. When we came back, we was actually going through the mountains, and there was a couple cool tunnels. I think I have some video on that I could share with everybody. I think I have some videos going through the mountains themselves. Let me see where those are at. Might be in the Centralia part. Yeah. So here's one right here. I thought this was super cool. It's just a tunnel through the mountain, but it was cool nonetheless. So I'll turn the volume down on it because it's us talking in the background and stuff. But you go through one side of the mountain, then you come through, and then there's another section of a tunnel to go through, and it was just really cool. I had the phone sitting up there on the driving thing that we got there, the little suction cup thing. And as you can see, the camera's kind of drifting back and forth a little bit. But this is just the part where we were coming back, and we were making jokes and stuff that we wish that the whole highway was this way. We're just speed on down and that kind of stuff. But we're having a good time, getting a little slappy towards the end there. And
kind of reminds me of the back rooms, if you know what that is.
No, I don't know what that. No idea. But on the way back, we ended up staying. I don't even know the place that we stayed in. It was a Days Inn that we stayed in, and oh my god, Yeah, that was an experience in itself. That was it was kind of like that one that we stayed in Michigan City, Alex, but it was worse.
Yeah.
So it was uh, it was fun. Um, Questionable creatures all over the place, and it was just it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun. We really did. Um, so there's a lot more that I have to share with everybody when I eventually get all this stuff done. Um, I think Alex is going to help me with some of the videos and stuff. I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I think might be evidence. I got a lot to do there, but it's going to take a little bit. So I hope everybody understands, why I keep doing these lives and stuff. I just wanted to explain. I wanted to kind of go over some of the questions that were asked, and one of the questions that were asked to me was things like, why did I stop at McPherson's Ridge? Why did I think that that was important? Well, the reason that I felt that it was important was because when I was at that area the first time with my wife and son, I got an overwhelming sensation when I was next to the cut. I could kind of like feel the energy there. And I know it sounds goofy, and I keep talking about energy and stuff, but you can kind of tell when an area is charged up. Now, what that means, it could mean whatever. Maybe they got high electric power lines somewhere that I didn't see. I don't know. But it gave me that feeling, which is why I continually poked around there. It's why I decided to do the live there, and it was really cool. A couple questions that I got asked. It was either Instagram or TikTok. Was what did we eat while we were out there? One of the cool things that I thought that we had a chance to stop at was a Friendlies. That we don't have Friendlies around here. Very good food. So I had this burger that I sent to Alex. I sent him a picture, and it was on a ciabatta bun or whatever, but it had Cool Ranch Doritos on it. It had like chopped steak, Swiss cheese, jalapenos, all kinds of good stuff. I'm getting kind of like watery mouth thinking about it. It was amazing.
That
That
sounds
burger
like
was
a heart
delicious.
attack on a bun.
Oh my god, it was delicious. Um, there was a bunch of Hardee's out there, and I was dying to stop at a Hardee's, but I didn't get a chance to. We stopped at McDonald's a couple times, and that was kind of eh. It's McDonald's. You get what you get. Um, we did stop at a couple Sheets and had some fun there. Um, but it was a really good trip. It was a lot of fun. Um, Trying to think of some of the questions that were asked to me on Instagram the other day when I was on there. Oh, I had somebody ask if I got any really good E.V.P.S. So the really good E.V.P.s, the only ones that I've really even processed are the ones that I just showed you there. And again, you got to put headphones on to even be able to hear what I'm talking about. So if you consider that good, that's good. If you consider it bad, okay, whatever, that's great too. Um, those are the ones that I've gotten to so far. I do have a lot more that I think I did capture a bunch. I know there's a lot of necrophonics work and stuff that Nathan was doing that we caught stuff. So there is some stuff to share. It's just going to take me a while to get through it, guys. I am sorry. And as far as visual evidence, I haven't seen anything yet. But again, I got to go through a lot of stuff and I got to look at it a little closer. I don't think we did, but you never know. And this is why I think a lot of people that go out to these places looking for the ghosts walking out of the tree lines and stuff like that. It's yes, those are cool pictures and stuff if they're true, but those are probably more rare than what you realize because we have very few captures like that, and I've been doing this since what '08, Alex, something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, we have very few photos of even orbs. Orbs are kind of recent as far as our photos go, because a lot of times you'll recognize that they're like dust particles or a bug or whatever. Um,
Most of the
so
time,
we do have,
stuff like that, they have little. You can see, you can tell. After a while doing this stuff, you can actually kind of tell what's an orb and what's a dust particle.
right.
And it's just something you gotta just watch.
Yeah. So, um, it's just one of those things that you kind of learn and you pick up on, but it takes time. Um, so I have a lot to go through, and I haven't even started on the audio files. I pulled that audio from a video. I do have a lot of audio to go through, so I'm sure that once I get everything done, we're going to try to process it as soon as we can and get something out to everybody so you can kind of see what we experienced while we were out there. I had a blast. It's probably going to be 3 different videos: Centralia, Flight 93, and then Gettysburg. And Gettysburg, I'm going to try to put it all in one, because me, I could make a big long video about all the history and stuff like that. I really like stuff like that anyway, but hopefully Alex will help keep me tamed so I don't make these way long. But that's kind of where we are, guys. And if anybody has any questions about what we did and experienced while we were out there, feel free to ask. Like I said, my wife and my other son was out there as well, so they had their own experiences too. And if once I get everything up from them, I'm still getting pictures and stuff from them as well. My wife sent me like 193 pictures a little bit ago. I had to go through all those. She got some really good pictures. She got things that I didn't get. She got video of me and Nathan doing experiments and stuff like that. So those are things I still got to go through and listen to and look at and all that stuff. So it's going to take a while. But got a lot to share, and eventually we'll get it all done. But it was a super fun time. If anybody has any thoughts about going there, fantastic. If anybody wants to go to Centralia, let me know. I will mark out on the map where all these places are that I had found. I don't want to do it just arbitrarily throw it out there because, whatever. Somebody might say, well, you told me blah, blah, blah. No. But if you send me a message and we do it privately, I'll show you exactly where everything is that I had found. I don't have any problem with that because I'm all about sharing it. Just if I do that, make sure that you're respectful. If I find out that people are going out there and just trashing the place or getting in trouble or whatever, and then I'll stop doing that. So I don't like to be a part of a problem. So as long as we don't have any problems with it, I don't have any problem sharing. It was a very cool place, and there's a lot of stuff to do around there. Not really Centralia in general. Gettysburg was fun. There's a lot to do there, and I mean a lot. And I would recommend not going there on the weekend because when we were leaving, it was the start of the weekend, and oh my God, there were so many people there. There was a ton of people. You think Kings Island is crowded? Yeah, just think of a little street, and it littered with people and cars. I mean, it's a lot of people. I didn't realize how many people came there. So we hit it at a good time. We had a good time, and like I said, we got a lot to go through. So, Alex, that's all I wanted to add, man. I just wanted to kind of get on here and answer some questions and share what we had here, and just kind of give a talk. We haven't been on here for a while, so I had a great time.
Yeah.
All right, well, Alex, thank you for helping me out with the live and letting me ramble a little bit here, guys. And when I get everything done, we'll be sure to push it over to you guys so you guys can check it out. Thanks, I really appreciate it.